Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you a color palette that I put together for any home, and this is a color palette that I did in collaboration with the great David Attenborough. Not actually, but I am a huge fan of Planet Earth and all of those nature documentaries, so this is going to be my Planet Earth inspired palette pyramid. And if you're new to the channel, I'm James. I'm a color guy specializing in interior decorating and all that good stuff. Palette pyramids are the paint people approach to color palettes. They're a top-down format where you have the main color, you have some support colors, and then your finishing accent colors in a wonderful triangular formation. Today's palette pyramid, like all the ones we do on this channel, involve 6 colors, but depending on your needs, you can get your own custom color palette done by moi in the link down below. 3, 6, and 12 are the standard sizes we offer in terms of number of colors. So depending on your project size, we have a palette just for you. Check out the link down below. Thepaintpeople.com is your go-to destination for quality paint and paint supplies. We're more than just a paint store. We are your partner in bringing color to life. Our commitment to fast shipping ensures that your order will reach you promptly so you can start your project without unnecessary waiting. Visit our website today and discover a world of colors, quality, and convenience. And as a thank you for supporting us on YouTube, use coupon code JAMES5 for 5% off your order. Starting with the top color in this pyramid, which of course is the main color, and I opted for Horizon to be the go-to default choice to start with. This is going to be a cooler leaning neutral. It has a little bit of a blue gray with a touch of green as well. Kind of reminds me of still, beautiful, serene water. And I think it's an interesting choice if you're moving away from the warmer neutrals, your beiges, even your grays to a certain degree. This one is kind of that pale, sort of slightly cloudy, smoky, silvery, cool, greeny blue gray. That's how I would describe it. Wonderful choice. Also fairly light. It is part of the Off-White collection by Benjamin Moore, so it does give you a very airy feeling to it without looking like just plain white on your walls. So great choice as the default main color in the palette. Moving down to our support colors, these are going to be your secondary options, either as a trim color or maybe another wall color in a different room. For the trim color choice, I'd maybe recommend Ice Mist as the white paint color of the bunch. And this is one that has an 89 LRV, so quite a bit brighter, more than 10 points brighter than Horizon, which gives you enough contrast between your walls and your baseboards. This also just has a very small hint of coolness, but in reality, it just translates to a really nice stark cleanliness, very frigid feeling. There's not going to be any yellowiness that's going to be appearing here. It's quite the opposite. It does feel to have a little bit of a blue undertone, but because it's so bright, it just kind of feels like it's glowing, which I think is beautiful. The second support color is going to be quite a bit darker, and I picked this as a darker wall color that is still kind of neutral, but in its own unique way. It's called Indian River, and this is one that is in that darker mid-tone level of depth. It has a taupe quality to it, I would say. So a nice combination of brown and gray deepened to a pretty significant degree. So this is a color that you would use in rooms where you are okay with that bit of richness on the walls. So maybe the more well-lit parts of your home, so you can kind of still feel like the room is open. If you have a room that is more dimly lit, you could still use this choice. It'll just lean into that darkness a little bit more and give it a more cozy feel. But it is fairly neutral. It's just, I would say, more on the warmer side of things compared to Horizon. So you have a nice bit of variety there in terms of color temperature and also depth. All right, so now it's finishing color time. These are going to be the accent colors of my Planet Earth palette. You'll definitely notice some nature-inspired hues coming through. Starting with Saybrook Sage, which is going to be a bit of an aloe kind of color, definitely a sagey green, and it has just a little bit of gray to tone it down a bit. So it's not overly saturated. It still feels a bit natural. It's a mid-tone, has about a 45 out of 100 light reflectance value. So kind of in that mid-tone territory. It's also brighter than Indian River, which I think is important to note, because this color obviously has more color coming through in that just beautiful green, but it's also lighter. So depending on your use case, I think they have similar amounts of usability. Usually brighter colors are harder to justify to some people because they just lack that neutrality, but the limitations of the color is sort of balanced by the lighter aspect of it. But what limitations it might have because of its coloration, I think it makes up for it because of how much lighter it is compared to Indian River. The second finishing color kind of takes that to the next level. It's even lighter, but I would say it's even more bright, perhaps polarizing, but I love it. We go from Saybrook Sage to Seabrook. And this is definitely a beautiful sky blue. It's extremely clean and crisp and fairly straightforward, I would say. Maybe a touch of a warm yellow undertone to give it a little more of an aquatic feel rather than something that is just super blue dominant. I kind of see this as a sky blue, but again, there is that warmth that's coming in as well, which I think helps coordinate better with the other colors in this palette. I love this choice if you want something just to feel really airy, for lack of a better term, and it's great in areas that are maybe a little more special, like you want them to pop a bit. Maybe the furniture is otherwise pretty understated and the walls are going to be the feature. I think this is an awesome choice, and that lightness that it has, around a 68 LRV, gives you more flexibility. It's never going to feel too dark in any situation, pretty much. To finish up, I have a beautiful dark accent color that I think is amazing, and it's not one I've ever mentioned on this channel, I don't think. It takes a deep forest green and adds a little bit of a, I don't know, a jade or a malachite sort of coolness to it that I think is awesome. This is a wonderful jewel tone, and it's called Ocean Tropic. And what I love about it is it's a dark green with maybe just that hint of teal that really does give it some vibrancy that I think is really, really beautiful. It has like a 7-ish LRV, so an extremely dark color. Awesome choice if you want to accentuate anything. Could be a bold option for kitchen cabinets as well, but just make sure you're okay with that cool bluey aspect. Make sure you test it out before you commit, because kitchen cabinets are an expensive project to do, so tread softly. But this color is absolutely gorgeous, and it's one that I want to recommend to you all as part of this palette. So here's the palette pyramid altogether. Please let me know what you think, and feel free to share some ideas on my next color palette pyramid in the comment section below.